Welcome, everybody, here and virtually. It is 6 o'clock, and I'm calling this Jackson Public Schools regular Board of Education meeting to order. If you'd like to make a public comment, on the cabinet back there, there are forms, and if you just fill them out and bring them to our wonderful secretary, Sarah, that would be great. Our next order of business is Pledge of Allegiance. Sarah, can you do roll call?
Ms. Hamilton,
Present.
Mr. Gray, Ms. Williams, Ms. Sharp, Mr. Dobies, Mr. Reddy,
Here.
Ms. Acton.
Here. Now for number 4, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Any deliberation? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. And now we turn it over to Superintendent Patterson for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Acton and Board of Trustees of Jackson Public Schools. Welcome back to the 2026-2027 school year. We've been working very hard this summer to get ready and excited about our plans. The first thing we're going to do this evening is celebrate one of our own. I've invited Mr. Willie Lewis, a high school principal here at Jackson High and Jackson Pathways. Mr. Lewis is a proud alumni of Jackson Public Schools. He'll tell you the greatest class that ever existed. But we're fortunate to have a professional of his caliber and his hard work and efforts, not only at the high school level, also at the collegiate level. He runs a lot of clubs, a lot of groups. He has community relations and connections and just does a phenomenal job. And so I'm going to let him kind of tell what we're celebrating today. But I just wanted to lift up a fellow Viking and let you all know first, because it's going to be quite a big deal. But behind the scenes, there's just been a lot of great work that has a tremendous impact on our young people. And so we see him at graduation. We see him at Real Vikings. He's helping to develop a K-12 curriculum of STEAM and STEM throughout the district. So he lights the candles at both ends. And for that, we're very grateful. Nancy tells him to slow down every once in a while and to regroup. So Mr. Lewis, at this time, I just want to give you the microphone and say thanks for all your efforts. And I'm proud of your accomplishments and all that this opportunity will mean for you and Jackson Public Schools.
Press the person. There we go. All right. First of all, I want to thank Superintendent Patterson. He has been great in his leadership and his vision for what this district can become. And I've been proud to be a principal here in this district for the last 7 years, but it's been supercharged since Superintendent Patterson has taken over. But I'm here to tell you about the culmination of a process that started back in February. I applied for, and now I have been selected as a Fulbright Global Educational Leader and part of that program. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty big deal. I started this process, like I said, in February, and we just found out that I was selected last Friday. And it's been a roller coaster trying to figure out all of the pieces, and just to make sure that everyone's on the same page about what the program is about. They every year that we send about 2,500, the United States Department of Education, which still exists, sends about 2,500 educators, researchers, and students throughout the world to learn about other educational systems. And part of that program is an educational leader program. And this year's focus is on the use of AI. It is also workforce development, career readiness, and then the partnership between businesses and schools, and trying trying to develop a more cohesive sort of streamline between schools and the industries. And so that's what the focus is going to be on. I don't know where I'll land, but the 4 countries that are available for me to visit would be Germany, Finland, Singapore, and the UK. And so I'm excited about all 4. My first pick was for Finland because they are at the top of the NAEP list. So I'd love to see what they have to offer in terms of their approach to education and how things go. I'm looking to bring back ideas and put them in place. And part of the application process, you had to talk about your approach to innovation and leadership and whatnot. And one of the things that stood out as I was thinking about this of coming up here was that the majority of my career was elsewhere. I was in other places, but the majority of that application in terms of innovative approaches to education was about the work that I was doing here. And that's a testament to not just the board, but all of the leaders and those that work tirelessly in the district to make this the premier district in the region. And they recognize that. And so this is not just about me, it's about a testament to the work that we do every day and our students and our families here in Jackson. So I'm proud to go and represent as a Viking. Like Superintendent Patterson just said, I'm a proud member of the class of '89, and I get to go tell someone that across the pond here in a little while. So thank you for letting me share that with you guys, and I'm excited. That one you could have gotten.
Oh, you get him first. Get him, and then I'll get William. Yeah, we're you know that's my husband.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention. Yeah, I'm going to be upset myself if I don't say this. Maureen Heiler is our ESL teacher over at Sharp Park. She is the one who put me on to this application because she herself is a former Fulbright. So we have 2 Fulbrights in this district already. So with my acceptance in the program.
She is the class president of 1998.
Thank you for lifting that up. So this is part of our welcome back to Jackson Public Schools. One thing that we did last year that we're going to do again is celebrate the great things that are happening in our district. It's our responsibility to tell our story, and we have phenomenal things that are happening. And so I can't tell them all here today. This is a little sneak peek about what we're going to experience next Monday. So you all are invited to our welcome back. I will share, I shared with Cabinet, our keynote speaker is Dr. Tawana Young. She is a partner with McGraw-Hill, and I heard her speak at a superintendent's program. And just, again, when we go out and we see things that we think that would be a benefit for our district, we want to bring those things back, and I know Willie will do that, and proud of his efforts, and hopefully you can be a part of our welcome back. Also, one item that I've been speaking with President Acton is our cell phone policy. So I wanted to have some discussion around that because there's been a lot of discussion across the state and locally here in Jackson County. So I have a brief little presentation here. So beginning in the 2026-2027 school year, all Michigan public schools are required to implement a policy restricting student use of wireless communication devices during instructional time. This statewide initiative is intended to maximize instructional time, reduce classroom distractions, improve student engagement, and support academic achievement. So we've had off and away, so this isn't brand new, but this is what everyone across the state of Michigan is now required to do. So We've had many discussions about cell phones since the iPhone, I think, was invented about 2007. And we've read lots of books, and we've seen lots of impacts and lots of distraction and all the things with technology. And it's not just limited to cell phones, but other communication devices. And we know this is, we've afforded teachers an opportunity to say, you're the managers of your classroom, so if you deem it's appropriate, then this is a good time to use cell phones. So now this is a law. And so during the 2025 State of Address, Governor Gretchen Whitmer called legislation to reduce the negative impact of smartphones on student learning and mental health. It's another area following bipartisan support in both the House and Senate. Governor Whitmer signed Senate Bill 495 and House Bill 4141 into law February 10th, 2026, which requires public schools and public school academy to adopt and implement a local wireless communication device policy for this upcoming school year. So again, we've had a plan called Off and Away, and so it's ramped up a little bit more. Many times what we would see in the classroom is the students would turn it into the teacher, the students would keep it in their pocket, the students would put it in their locker. Now we're requiring all students to keep it in their lockers throughout the school day. And so we're bringing lockers back online at middle school at Parkside to accommodate this. Elementary sees a lot less of cell phone use because of the age appropriateness. So they're asking families to just keep the cell phones at home, and they'll have a system and process in place. So it's important that we just communicate this over and over and over again. So everybody understands. And again, this is not just Jackson Public Schools. This is Jackson County. This is the state of Michigan. And we want to kind of front load everyone. So as we begin Viking Voyage and Summer Step Forward and social media pages and board meetings, like, we can't communicate enough around this topic. Even again, it's not brand new because we've had Off and Away, but it's going to be updated and changed. So some reasonable exceptions to why students will be allowed to carry cell phones will be medical necessity. So there's reasons, very good reasons, that will be documented for those exceptions. Students receiving special education accommodations through the IEP or Section 504 could be another reason. So that will be determined by their educational team. Teacher-approved instructional use is kind of where we've been. So we always afford teachers that. Being a one-to-one district, we feel like we have the tools and resources that we don't want to kind of go backwards. We want to move forward with we have the devices in the class. So I'm not necessarily sure that we need cell phones being a one-to-one district. And again, the communication plan is the priority, which is why we're here again today. Board discussions, parent letters, student presentations, staff training is appropriate. So helping our teachers to understand the why, because they're the ones on the front lines in the classroom with the students, and we want to make sure we're clearly communicating our goals and expectations there. Frequently asked documents, building level leadership with administration, and just any and every opportunity. And so obviously, I don't think all of our young people will love this. I think a lot of our families and teachers have a different position, and ultimately our goal is to spend really maximizing that instructional time in the classroom. And so just wanted to have a discussion item kind of lift up again. So it'll be documented that we did have this discussion here at the board level, and we'll continue to have this dialogue with our students and staff and community. So I'll just pause right there regarding our communication, give a little bit of background of where we've been and where we're going if there's any discussion.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So thank you for letting us know this information is really helpful, because I've been seeing the chatter, and I'm glad to know that it's across the state and not just us, because again, I've been seeing the chatter. So thank you for that. I hear you say that we have Off and Away or Up and Away or something right now already in place, but the law is requiring us to do something. Is it requiring us to do something different, or are we just kind of taking another level because we're already doing something?
So it's always kind of been local control. There's never been a law. There's a law now. So that's new. So they kind of left it up to school districts and how they want to implement. And so this is how we're implementing. But now it just goes back to, again, like the local control. So they're not telling you, you can
How
do
to
this,
do it.
you can't do that. But there are certain things that we have to follow, some of those exemptions that I gave.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing a lot of response in the past about, disruptions and all the things, and then going to the mental health aspect is just helping our young people to be truly present. So one example I can give is we've always allowed non-instructional time like passing periods and lunchtime. And so again, going back to those mental health components about being present to the people that are in front of you and less of the devices. So students can always stop at their locker where their phones will be, but we're eliminating that non-instructional time as well because it just seems to carry over into the classroom, quite frankly.
Thank you. So I'm hearing you say that the law has some stipulations that we have to abide by, which are those exemptions that you mentioned. But the off and away that we currently have, it could be sufficient if we chose to. But because we're doing that already, we're kind of just adding a little bit more, and for the reasons that you just given.
That's correct.
Sounds good. One more question, or a couple more questions for you. One more question for you, maybe. When they violate, what's the punishment, the discipline, what's that look like?
Yeah, so the goal is always to get them to cooperate. And so if they refuse to, we have a little bit more teeth here, I would say, because it's a law. And so if I'm in the classroom before, I'm just saying, that's Mr. Patterson's rule, and now it's the state of Michigan rule. So there's a little bit more support for educators to do the things that we want to do. So the goal is always to remove the distraction, and when we can do that, we return back to learning. And so we can't return back to learning until the issue is addressed. And so we're going to be firm that this is the expectation of the classroom, and we expect all of our students to follow it. So unfortunately, if the student has a cellular device, they can't return to the classroom. And so we're going to work with the families to help the students make the right choice so they can be in the classroom, because that's the whole point of this whole thing, is so we can have their undivided attention to focus on English, math, science, and social studies and all the other things.
Thank you. And what I'm understanding you say is that if they refuse to put it away, they'll be basically refused to come to class. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, they'll have to speak with an administrator, because that'll be one of those non-negotiables. Because again, it was it was always a classroom rule and an expectation. And so sometimes the student just gave it to the teacher and the problem was resolved. That's fantastic. That's what we want to do. But we'll continue to remind them. We have it now with book bags. Students will bring a book bag to class and we remind them.
Right.
That's why we have lockers. And so this is another teachable moment. That's always the top priority, knowing it's going to be new, knowing there's going to be resistance. So this is a part of the coaching from the administrators and the teachers to help our students to make the right choices.
Thank you. I would love to see, and obviously you don't have the data now, but I would love to see what this looks like after 3 months. What type of issues are we having? What's consistent? What's kind of dying down? What was, a really big issue, but, because we stood firm, this is no longer an issue, or it remains an issue. Should we adjust? I would love to see that in December-ish, just to kind of see where it goes. But thank you for explaining all that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll just go back to, I believe Ms. Ebersol has sent the communication to invite you all to opening day. And so it will be at American One Event Center on Monday morning. So we're excited about that, all the things that we will celebrate. Thank you again for moving this board meeting. Last year, we held it the day before school started, so this is much better. So I want to thank the board for that. And we're really looking forward to the 26-27 school year. We've got a great plan in place and the best students around. So we look forward to welcoming them back. We have open houses beginning. We're welcoming our teachers back, our families back. Athletics have already gone underway, band camp and all the things. So we're excited about the upcoming school year and know that you are too. So at this time, this concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Superintendent Patterson. That was great. Number 6, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Any deliberation?
I have just a quick deliberation because in the consent agenda, I want to recognize Joe Bortman. Joe is here today. Joe, you give us a little wave. So Joe has been a longtime employee of Jackson Public Schools. He works tremendously hard in his department, does a lot of hard work over the summer in preparation. They were so far ahead of schedule because they had a lot of additional manpower. And so I just want to recognize not his efforts just now, but over the years. And so with this, Joe has been promoted from assistant director to director of facilities. And so this is the recommendation of the Board of the administration. And so thank you, Joe, for your many years of service. He always has a smiling face, always willing to do whatever needs to be done, and doesn't need a lot of the credit and recognition. But at this time, I just wanted to lift him up in his work. So thank you.
Any other deliberation? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda item number 7, citizens requesting to address the board. Do we have anybody, Sarah? Okay. We will move on to agenda item number 8, discussion item. And Marcus, I will turn this over to you. The EV White Fleet.
All right, so EV White Fleet, and what that means is, we have our electric school bus program, obviously. The White Fleet is some of the non-student transportation. Think our maintenance vans, food service vehicles, which just happen to be the color white, which is why it's called that. So anyways, our electric partners, Highland Electric, came to us last year with an opportunity to pilot an electric maintenance van and an electric food service box truck to see how they performed, if it's something that the district was interested in moving towards, right? And so we embarked on it. It was a 6-month pilot. There was no cost to the district to run the pilot. Highland provided all the infrastructure and the vehicles with the understanding that we would just decide at the end of the pilot if we wanted to keep the vehicles or return them. So after using each one for 6 months, or approximately 6 months, both the facilities and the food service department have both a lot of positive reviews. They've held up well, very low maintenance. I mean, even like our maintenance van, which runs all over the district every day, we wound up only having to charge it every 3 days. I mean, it really holds up. So again, going back to those cost savings, reducing fuel, oil, maintenance, things like that. So what you have in front of you is a proposal from Highland. Typically, they look to do these under a lease model, which the district has done in the past. However, we asked for a purchase price model as well because we feel like if we're going to do this, we'd rather just own the vehicles outright instead of making a payment every year. It's actually in the district's best interest to purchase them. It's a cost savings as opposed to a lease model. The numbers are all in there. One other note is that the food service vehicle would be paid for out of the food service fund, which is self-sustaining, right? So each vehicle, that vehicle's cost would be taken out by the food service fund, and the maintenance van would be paid for out of the general fund. You can see the information there. The total cost includes the cost of the vehicle and 1/2 the cost of the charging infrastructure, the charging ports that were installed at the operations building. I think, the total cost was just split in half. And then the only other cost is an annual service fee of around $2,000, and that goes towards warranty, overhead maintenance on the charging infrastructure, access to the electric software that our buses are currently on, and some of those things. So we don't have a recommendation today, no action. We just wanted to bring this information. We presented this at the Finance Committee meeting last week, and we'll be back next month to look for an approval to purchase both of these vehicles.
Any questions? I have a question. How long do those electric vehicles last? What's the lifespan for them? I'm curious. Just
I I don't know exactly the lifespan of the vehicles themselves. I will tell you the warranty provided is 100,000 miles on the battery itself.
Okay,
And just, I don't have the mileage of that we ran in the 6-month pilot, but I'll tell you our average school bus mileage is in that 10 to 12,000 mile a year range. So
okay.
if they run like a school bus, which there are going to be differences, you can figure almost 10 years.
Good
right?
to, yeah, good to know. Any other questions? Okay, we will move on to the next item. Discussion item 262713, the EV bus carport, and I'm turning that back over to Marcus.
All right, and we also discussed this item at the finance meeting last week as well. So just to give a little background, when we embarked on our EV bus project a few years ago, when we were planning the charging island, if anybody's been out there, it's a long run of concrete with all the charging ports on there. We'd originally planned to have that, have snow melt put into that to make it easier to shovel maintenance, help prevent slip, trip, and fall accidents, you know, this, that, and the other. For whatever reason, permits weren't pulled in time, we weren't able to complete that part. So we've always been looking for different ways to help resolve some of those issues, make it a little safer, a little easier for snow removal in the winter, both on the island and the buses. We'll fast forward a little bit. So a couple of years ago, we applied for an MDE electric bus grant. We received 2 new buses from that. Originally, we applied for 4 buses, but we only purchased 2. So we have about half of the money in that grant left over, and MDE does not want the money back, and if possible. And we went ahead and asked MDE for approval for this project, which would, we partnered with Harvest Solar, who constructed the solar fields at 3 of our buildings, to design a proposed carport. If you've seen at parking lots, you know, here and there, if the closest thing I can say would be at MSU, at some of their student lots, you'll see these carports over the parking lots, and they have solar panels. So this would be a covered solar carport, which would cover about 1/3 of the bus on either side of the island, which takes care of the charging port where we plug it in. It helps so the drivers aren't worried about having to remove all that snow at 5 o'clock in the morning off the front of the bus. We'll be able to incorporate potentially cord management because the charging cables are pretty heavy and they just lay on the ground right now. So again, help prevent employees from tripping on that, again, the dark and icy conditions. And so there's 2 proposals, there's 2 numbers or 2 different designs in the proposal. The first option is only to cover a portion of the carport with solar panels, which would fit within the amount of grant funds that we have remaining, which is about $781,000. And then we have a little left over from private donations. So we have total, I'll call it free money of about $803,000. The second proposal or part, which costs a little bit more, I think just under $1 million at $996,000. What we would be proposing next month would be to take the remaining or fund the remaining $192,000 from our EV bus fund. So again, not the general fund, but if you remember, we received money for the buses, and then Highland bought the buses off of us. So we have that money to save for future if we ever have to replace them, right? For reference, to date, we've earned almost $500,000 of interest in that fund. So we would basically be using the interest to cover the rest of the amount in this fund. So again, the general fund would not be touched. And I think, again, this would be a great thing to help increase the longevity of the buses, driver safety, all of this. So again, no action today. We'll be back next month, just kind of give you a little briefing of what we talked about last week and what we've been working on out there in the transportation department.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question for you. The EV funds, it sounds like, I might be correct in thinking, that they can only be used for EV stuff? Or can they be put into general funding, or how those funds work?
So we decided when we first received that big EPA grant a few years ago that we created a separate fund, and we wanted to not touch that fund because in our cash flow projections, between the amount of money that we'll pay Highland over the year of the contract, or the several years of the contract, and the amount of interest we project we could earn, if our partnership ends and we need to replace those 21 buses, because technically Highland owns those, we want to make sure we have funds available to purchase 20 buses in the future, which is why we try our best not to touch that if we don't have to. There's no formal state or federal restrictions on the money, other than we just don't really want to think about it, but it's there.
Thank you. It sounds like we're being good stewards of our money.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Marcus, can you just speak to where Harvest Solar is located? I think
Yep,
it's
I
interesting.
did forget to mention that. So Harvest Solar is local to Jackson, to the Jackson area. And the carports themselves and the parts are manufactured. I don't know if they're in Jackson, but in Jackson County. I can't remember where their manufacturing facility is, but it is very local. Again, they're the ones that did the solar fields. You see at Dibble, John R. Lewis, and at Hunt, where we have seen savings in electricity over the first 2 years of those projects as well.
And didn't they do the parking lot across the street from the courthouse?
Yep, they took
Okay.
us there to the county courthouse to see some of those designs that we could look at and take a look at there, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Number 9, it's an action item, the MASB Delegate Assembly. I'm being chosen to go to be a delegate on Thursday night, and we get to vote on bylaws and updates with the Michigan Association of School Boards policy. So do I have a motion? What am I supposed to do? A motion to approve something? So, yeah, oh, okay. Yes, so JPS is allowed 3 delegates. So at this time, do I have a motion to approve? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this item, the MASB Delegate Assembly? Candidates?
Who are the candidates? I heard you.
Well, right now, it's just me.
I'd like to attend.
Did I have a support? Was there? Support. Okay. Deliberation?
So one question, are you going? Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
So any other deliberation? So the motion is to appoint myself and Tabitha Williams to the delegation on Thursday night for the MASB conference. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And now the next action item is 262715 Superintendent's Contract Extension, and Jeremy will present the item.
Thank you. Last month, I had my mid-year evaluation. We went into closed session, and so I was appreciative of the feedback. When we came out of closed session, this board agreed to the extension of the contract to the 2028-2029 school year. And today, this addendum kind of speaks to what that agreement is. And so you have that before you today. I spoke with our school district attorney just to make sure everything looked good there. Instead of using the original contract, he recommended the addendum. So that's what's in front of you today. That just identifies that essentially the contract is the same with the exception of that contract extension, the salary, et cetera. So at this time, this kind of finalizes that process of the contract extension if we agree to the terms.
Do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's contract extension? Okay. Any deliberation?
Yes, I have a question. For my clarity, JESPA, I know that was in the consent agenda. Are they for all the teachers or just the teacher assistants?
Yes, JESPA is just the teacher assistants.
And you know, I've been away a bit, traveling and working and graduating with my master's with a 3.7.
Congratulations.
Just in case. Did we have a teacher contract come before us this year?
Their contract expires at the end of this school year, so we'll begin negotiations with them throughout the year.
Okay. So I'm always, mindful of our teachers. I feel like they do some of the heaviest lifting And I'm, always mindful of what they're getting and how they're getting it. I'm gonna be a no vote on this, not because I don't think you've been doing a great job, because I think you have been. I've been hearing some good things about you, but I don't feel comfortable moving forward with this part of it, the additional pay currently. One last question for you. The extra pay, that's still in your contract. Am I correct on that, the extra duty pay?
Yes, that's, that's not in this contract.
Right.
That's a separate thing, yeah.
Right, but nothing has changed, right? You're still getting the extra duty pay?
Nothing has changed.
Okay, thank you. So for those reasons, I'm gonna be a no on it, but thank you though.
Any further deliberation? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No, opposed?
Motion carries. Number 10, the calendar. So August 24th, welcome back staff. August 26th, first day of school for students. September 4th through the 7th, no school, Labor Day observance. And then September 15th, we're going back to, again, the third week on Tuesdays, third Tuesday of the week. A regular board meeting at the Media Center at 6 p.m. And at this time, I would hear board comments, number 11.
One comment for the community. Welcome back to the 26-27 school year. Best of wishes. Best of wishes, folks.
I just graduated. A lot of my friends are going into their senior year. So to those seniors who are about to be stressed out, just stay focused. You got this. We're here to support you. Everyone's here to support you.
Welcome back, everyone. And I just want to thank Maureen Heiler for lifting Willie up for this opportunity to go abroad and learn new things and bring it back to Jackson County. I feel like he is one of the best people that could ever be chosen, not just because I love him anyways, but he's a great principal and educator. Also, thank you, Joe, for all of your hard work. We appreciate you showing up and doing all that you do and keeping our buildings moving and running. And thank you to the board for all of your hard work.
I want to echo congratulations. So many exciting things happening, and it's wonderful to hear. And I just want to lift up everyone heading back to school. I know there's a lot of excitement, but there can be a lot of nerves and stress and transitioning to a different kind of day-to-day lifestyle. So just lifting you up, thinking of you, and we appreciate everything you do. Have an amazing start to your school year.
I'll echo that. Congrats and welcome back, everybody. With Willie, that is incredibly exciting for him and his family, but also for JPS, for us to have that kind of share in that accolade is pretty incredible. Congrats for another year, Mr. Patterson. Excited to continue forward with another great school year with you, and welcome back, Jasper. Excited to have you back. When I first got on this board, I went to Sharp Park and met with Jasper, and she fully humbled me with her breadth of knowledge and all of the things that she does at Sharp Park, and excited to have you back. So.
Yep. Again, congratulations to Willis and especially Joe. I've been seeing you everywhere for multiple years, more than 2 decades probably. But like Mr. Patterson said, you always smile. And the days I didn't even know your name, but you smile and you helped our tennis facilities and other facilities. Thank you, and you're well-deserved. And again, Willis too, well-deserved. And Mrs. Jasper, welcome back. As a family, myself and my better half, we missed you at Sharp Park. Sharp Park needs you, and we are excited because we still got one more kid heading to Sharp Park. So, yeah, welcome back. Yeah.
I just want to thank all of the Jackson Public School employees for the hard work and everything that they do. I don't know if you noticed, the hallways were gleaming. Like, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. And I'm so excited for Mr. Lewis. Oh my gosh, what an amazing opportunity. And Joe, thank you. You're so quiet in those finance meetings, but I recognize all the hard work you do. So, and I hope everyone had a beautiful summer. So at this time, is there a motion to adjourn? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Have a great night.